do we all have guides with us? Do we all have angels with us, or just some people have just angels or guides and angels? What about that question?
Yeah, it's a great question. This is a free will universe, so we can have whatever we desire to have. Nearly every being here has guides. I always speak in a relative term. I don't try to speak in absolute and say, yes, everyone has it. But in my experience, just about everyone I've seen has guides. So it's a very regular, common experience because we are non-physical beings ultimately, and sometimes we need some help from other non-physical beings that understand us. It's real easy to get lost in our human experience, right? To get very consumed by just what's happening in the world and then lose awareness of why I'm here, how I'm supposed to grow and evolve as a soul. And our guides are always then working with us to help us stay in that state of remembrance. Usually at night when we dream, we interact with our guides, but not everybody remembers what their dreams are. But it happens almost every night for all of us. So we reconnect, we have these communications that help us to understand why I'm here in this world and what my goals are and how I can really evolve myself into this greater being of God realization. Angels are different. In my experience, angels don't act the same way guides do, because angels don't really serve that same purpose. Trying to think of an example in the physical. Not one comes to mind, but essentially a guide is kind of like a coach or a teacher,
Okay.
right? And you can go, you have access to that coach or teacher, you have access to that guide very easily, but an angel doesn't really act like a teacher or a guide. An angel serves a more universal purpose and a less personal purpose. You might go to the angelic realm for healing. You might go to the angelic realm for like a wisdom of oneness, like being held in an energy of oneness and understanding that. But a guide is more instructional, a guide is more conversational. So it's a different type of experience. If we want to be in the angelic energy and receive it, we can. We can ask for support. We can ask that the angels are present in our lives. So we can actually do this consciously, and it's a very good thing to do, right? But I think that guides aren't as personal to us angels aren't as personal to us as guides are, just by the relativity of who they are and how they function in this reality. But we all have them.
But we all have them.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
the most important thing.
Yeah, we're not alone in this.
No, we're not alone in it. But it's a bit what you say. It's not separate. It's all one. But
Yeah.
more connected we are, it's a bit what you say when you go out of this physical container. More connected we are, more that what we do understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything's perfect. Not everybody can understand it. Not everybody feels the same thing. Not
Yeah.
everybody connects with their emotions in the same way.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah, it's difficult for a lot of people to understand the idea of oneness because they don't have a tangible experience to reference.
yeah.
A lot of times we conceptualize something when we haven't really experienced it ourselves yet. And the conceptualization is the beginning of the process, right? Once you understand the possibility of something, then you can go seek it out and create that experience for yourself. So sometimes it's difficult to really conceptualize oneness when all I see around me with my physical senses are separation. Usually I tell people that if you look at the physical environment, you can still see evidence of oneness, right? The light of the sun comes into you and that allows you to see, right? The light comes into all the objects and allows us to see. Essentially, the objects are bodies of light that are shining. So the world has to come into your body in order to know it exists. Sound has to come into your body. Breath has to come into your body. Food has to come into your body, right? Everything in the outside world is creating my form. So even though they appear to be separate, there's a constant flow, a constant giving and receiving of everything creating each other. So even though there's physical appearance of space, distance, and different forms, there's still a creative unity that's here in the physical reality. If I go then deeper into the emotional reality, I see that I can feel the same thing another person's feeling. Right? We say you walked into a party and you came from your own home feeling your own energy, and you drove to the party, and as soon as you go into the building of the party, you start to feel the emotion of the party.
Mhm.
That energy comes into you. There's very little separation in the emotional universe. And being able to feel the energy of a group or connect with another person and feel the emotional energy is evidence of oneness. The more we go into subtle vibrations, so the more we go into these higher dimensions, the easier and greater the appearance of oneness is. And I'm going to stress the word appearance because the reality is there's always oneness. We just can perceive it more clearly as we go into these more subtle dimensions, these higher dimensional states. So I think sometimes it's just about wrapping our mind around how to find evidence for these spiritual concepts because the oneness is here. And even material science shows us that there is oneness, that space is just the appearance of separation, but not an actual construct of separation. Nothing's actually separate at all.
Okay. Very good.